Did you click live already?
Ow.
Intro.
Tiptoe through the window, by the window, by the sparrow. He come tiptoe through the tulips with me. Oh, tiptoe from the garden, by the garden, on the willow tree, and tiptoe through the tulips with me.
What do we do?
Why don't we just wait here for a little while? See what happens.
What have you done to it? What have you done to its eyes? What have you done to him, you maniac? Join us! Join us! Join us! Join us! Listen, asshole!
No, you listen, little bitch. You're hanging up on me again, I'll cut you like a fish. They're coming to get you, Barbara. Here's Johnny.
Welcome to the season 2 premiere of Slice and Dice Dreadcast. I'm your host, Joe Infante, coming in from Brooklyn, New York, and I'm here with my co-host, Jim Backus.
Hey, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the season 2 premiere, episode 29. Woo. And to kick off the season 2, we're going to do a trilogy, Insidious 1, 2, and 3. We just had a little creep-ass music from that Jimmy spliced together with our new theme song that we tailed on at the end of season 1. And the best news of all, the kid, J Mac, is back.
What's up, fellas? What's going on?
Yes. Our good friend and co-host is back on the full time, for now at least, until life, God only knows fucking what will bring us in the future. But as of now, we're back. The trio is here to kick some fucking ass every other week with the Slice and Dice Dreadcast.
Either way, we'll work around his schedule.
Yes, of course.
We'll figure it out. We'll make it all happen. I'll, do what I got to do.
That's right. It was great having all the guests on, and once in a while we will still have some guests on, but it just didn't feel right until we had our fucking, the big dangling one in the middle on the tripod, if you know what I mean.
Hey man, I actually was really happy with all the shows you guys put out. I was glad you guys did a great job. I completely expected you to fall apart once I was gone. Without me there to be
We're
the
sorry.
buffer between Joey's pretentious attitude and Jim's perversions, I just didn't know how you guys were going to make it, but you ended up putting out a bunch of great shows.
Well, thank you. You know, we tried, and luckily we had some great guests come on. You know,
Some bad ones, some good ones.
No, there was no bad guests.
No,
Great.
not at all.
It was great. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, actually, no. I appreciate everybody who came on the show, all the other hosts from the network. Yeah, it was really fun getting to know other people, and some of the episodes we had planned didn't happen, but you know, only time will tell.
Shit
We
happens.
Sky's the limit for us.
That's right. That's right. Yes. You know, definitely wasn't bad, but we definitely got dirtier depending on who the guest host was.
Absolutely.
So we had some good shows, and we're back now. We took a month off, took a step back, and shit was getting a little hectic. And we said, you know what? Let the summer roll out. We'll come back strong. Season 2, Slice and Dice. Here we are. So
And if we are going to switch to the every other week thing, our next show is going to kick off October. So we have a big October coming up for everybody.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So we have
Episode 30. Wow, that worked out very well.
episode 30. Yeah. Holy shit. You know what I realized? We didn't even talk about episode 30 before we went on the air.
No, we did
Shit.
not.
So we'll talk about that at the end. We'll save that for the listeners. A surprise. What we're going to pull out for October and our big 30th episode. So that should be a fun one. But first, a trilogy that I am doing a first-time watch with, and I believe you guys not, Insidious, right? And we watched the trailer for the upcoming 4th one, so it'll be a quadrilogy. I didn't even say that right, but you guys know what I mean.
Trademark Slice and Dice Dreadcast.
Yeah, we're professionals here. So, before we get into our trilogy for the evening, let's just shoot the shit for a little. So, James, you know, you popped on a couple episodes during our little tenure without you, and tell us what's going on. Any good movies? Any crazy fucking ghost experiences? What's the deal? What's happening with J-Mac?
Nah, man, there's no extra paranormal activity going on over here. But yeah, man, I was just busy with work, doing training and stuff. And, you know, anytime I thought I'd have a few minutes free, I'd try to hit you up and see if I could jump back on somewhere, just because I enjoyed doing it so much with you guys. And obviously, you know, the running joke, I have been taking care of the Instagram and all that bullshit. But
check it out. Slice _ and _ dice _ Dreadcast Instagram.
You know, I'm not gonna mention that you were on friggin' Death by Podcast and you shouted out Paul Stevenson's Instagram page, which is amazing, but you didn't bother fucking throwing us out there while you were talking about Instagram on the fucking thing.
Oh shit! You know why? Paul's Instagram comes on the Facebook, so it's the same shit, you know? So, like, you know how it is. Once in a while, I get the Instagram, it comes on, and it's like, oh, there's 20 new things on Slice and Dice. Let me like them all.
Yeah, his Instagram's awesome, though. Paul's, that photography he does with the friggin' action figures and all that shit is dope.
Yeah. He just sent the fucking meme one that's going to be coming out in October to our group chat. So that shit was is really... they just keep getting better and better from when I started seeing it to now. It's phenomenal. Yeah, and also now new co-host on Death by Podcast.
Yeah, man, I actually listened to your guys' first episode back with the 2 new co-hosts. It was awesome. It was I enjoyed it, man. I like the new female you got with you too, Tara.
Yeah, Tara, she's great, man.
Yeah, man, dude, guys, I think Green Room came up again or something, and she said "fuck" like 87 times in 8 seconds, and I was like, "This girl's amazing."
Oh shit! Yeah, she's definitely dropped a lot of F-bombs. You know, she'd be a perfect fit for Slice and Dice.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I try to cut it back. You get fucking somebody who's worse. That ain't no fair.
I'm telling you, I think Joey recruited her to the wrong fucking podcast of his.
Exactly. We need some feminine qualities around here for Slice and Dice sometime.
Maybe she'll have to guest host. Come on the show at least.
Yeah, man.
We'll talk soon about that.
All this manliness kind of turns people off, probably.
Too much testosterone floating around.
Need some estrogen in here.
But yeah, we got an we got an interesting episode coming up on there. We got Zombie 3. So we're continuing a Bruno Mattei retrospective. Zombie 3, Island of the Living Dead, and Zombies the Beginning. And we have a special announcement to make on that episode. I'll save it for then. That'll be out in October. We're going about every 3 to 4 weeks with that. And since I'll be in Disney, we're recording after. So that'll be out next month, mid-October. So until then, hang tight. But looking forward to hopefully see you in the flesh, J-Mac, in a couple weeks. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, man, I'm going to see what I could do to make that happen.
Could touch your butt.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hopefully Teresa won't get mad at me.
Nah, man. She's always willing to get rid of me.
So, yeah, man. Well, it's great to have you back. And what else we got going on? Chucky's coming out. So we did our last episode, actually, 28, with Mike Merriman from Evil Episodes and a million other podcasts. We covered the first 2. So actually watched, I was about to say Cult of Chucky, which is the new one. Curse of Chucky. I watched it a couple days ago. Have you guys seen that one?
That's the that one I did see, right? The girl in the wheelchair and all that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to remember.
Brad Dourif's daughter, actually, Fiona Dourif.
Really?
Yeah.
I checked it out, man. It was pretty good.
I watched it when it came out, and then I watched it, like I said, a couple days ago, and shit, it was awesome. And I think because I watched the other ones, I watched the original trilogy, and then I watched that one. So in comparison, it's like they went back to that serious tone, and they really nailed it with the music and the shots of Chucky, the facial expressions, jump scares, everything. I thought it was really well done. So I'm looking forward to see what Cult is going to be all about.
Jimmy, they actually are putting that on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah, next month. I think we got to squeeze that in for Halloween month, boys.
Oh, why not? Hey, I'm looking. Hopefully, have about 10 episodes under our belt for October. By the way.
Oh yeah, sure, no problem.
Just letting you know.
I'm gonna go live from the classroom. Like everybody, we're going live podcast. Let's go.
Just letting you know my expectations for October. we have what we have planned. We also have a Friday the 13th in there. We have a Chucky movie to go, to jump onto. What the fuck? We should have
Pocus. Don't forget
Hocus Pocus. Hocus Pocus. Halloween Town. We're gonna have a whole bunch of Disney shows.
Ernest Scared Stupid.
I want to put some. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll see what happens. But I would love to watch Chucky and review it because there's actually like good expectations, good reviews online about it. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you also got Leatherface coming out, the new Jigsaw. Mm-hmm. So a couple other things probably that we don't even remember that are originals and not some kind of fucking remake or reboot or sequel.
I honestly don't think if there are any original things coming out.
So yeah. Any other good movies that you guys seen lately?
Good.
You say It?
Yeah, man.
Ooh, heavy hitter. Fucking It.
I watched It twice, and on Netflix, the last one I watched was the Villisca murders. It was a movie. It was actually starring Sean Whalen, who we were in talks to have on the show. It's a good movie. It takes place at a haunted location in Iowa that's actually real. It's an actual paranormal hotspot, So the movie was pretty cool. It delves into the real murders that happened there, and it's pretty cool. So I'd give that a watch if I were perusing Netflix.
You peruse often.
He's a peruser.
I could throw some words out there. Kiss my ass. Fuck you.
Oh shit! I watched a bunch of shit lately. Let's talk about it for a few real quick. I know we did an episode on it, Jim and I. It was a duo episode actually, and tribute to James because he left the show. And it's like, you did it without me, you fucking prick.
Yeah, I actually sent a voicemail in on that one. I think that was the first episode we did. What you guys did when I had to step away.
Yeah,
because I won the poll.
I just watched it actually.
That's right.
Not the whole episode, but I went on and I clicked on it, and it actually obviously that was whenever we were talking about, let's just see, it's popular now, so let's see if it'll get us more views. And all of our other videos on YouTube get like jack shit, but our It video has 475 views compared to like 40 for every other one. Yeah. Hey. But I remember you're playing his voicemail from your phone and shit. But yeah, that was a really good episode. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a good one. And after seeing this one, it's like, wow, that movie fucking blows compared to this, man. I loved it, guys. I gave it a 9 out of 10. That's the Horror Mafia rating scale.
Yeah, I loved it too, man. And I'm a huge fan of the original one. Like, I understand, like I said on the voicemail I left, like I can understand people watching it now if it wasn't like constantly part of their life since they were a kid and being like, this is fucking kind of stupid and corny, but just nostalgia wise to me, that's like one of my favorite fucking movies. And Tim Curry, like my main reservation about the new one was how much I like Tim Curry as Pennywise. Like, am I going to be able to even give this kid an opportunity to like win me over, the new dude? And
right.
I mean, I got room for 2 different kinds of Pennywise, man.
Hey,
in my life.
It's funny because until I was talking with Mike from DBP about it, I didn't realize, like, he's over 10 years older than us, so he's like, it was like nostalgic from your guys' decade, your guys' age. When it came out, we were prime fucking meat to get the shit scared out of us,
Yeah.
Fucking, what were we? Not even, bro, we were 6, 7, 8 the most, when the movie came out and we first saw these movies, we were single-digit children. We were not even the age of the kids on the show yet, so...
Yeah, they seemed like big kids to you, like we were fucking little, man.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, all right, well, it's scary as shit. But when we watched it, we were like, what's scary? Fucking floating balloons?
It's just that fear, that dread, that what's going to happen. That's what, and like I said, I knew that this was going to be a lot more intense. Obviously, it's not a made-for-TV movie, but I was very pleased with it, and I thought they could have added, I guess, more, but I guess turning it into sequels and all that shit, you can't put, blow your whole load on the first movie. But I enjoyed it. Like I said, seeing it twice, it was I like the way they did it. There's been a lot of shit talk about the CGI, I guess, but I didn't see anything really crazy wrong about it.
Listen, I hate CGI, and I thought it was just fine. It was good, if any, top notch, actually.
Yeah, people are nitpicking. They're nitpicking, basically.
Honestly, the only people I know who kind of have said they didn't like it or bitching about it, or people who kind of do that about everything. Like if enough people like something, they're like, "Oh no, it fucking sucks," Right. And it's also, I think there's a lot of people were so excited because they're like, oh, the original was a made-for-TV movie. Now they're not going to have the restraints of network television. They're going to be able to fucking do all this crazy shit. And they were expecting like the fucking Baskin version of it. And they got the Hollywood version of it. You know what I'm saying?
Baskin version.
You know what I'm saying? Like they were expecting this like gory. They wanted to see, like, unless they're watching Pennywise disembowel a fucking child, like to them it wasn't going to be good. You know?
I mean, I think it was gory enough. I mean, it wasn't like over the top.
It wasn't like fucking over the top. But there's people who like, you know, the fucking gore whores that love that shit. You know, they want to be disturbed by what they're watching. It's not.
I want to see children get it.
Basically, yeah. You know. So I mean, to me, it's a lot of those people that are bitching.
I thought what they did was off-putting enough. I mean, I don't want to give spoilers out there, you know, with specifics, but like the Georgie scene, I thought
Georgie gets it.
I thought it was pretty disturbingly done, and you know, seeing that happen to a child, like, but the blatantness of it was, yeah, I thought it was way gory enough.
Oh yeah, I mean, and the scene in the end, forget about it. It was great, bro. I thought it was fantastic. I thought the jump scares were done extremely well. Usually, I'm not a big fan. Done to the T.
This episode of the show, by the
way. And what else? Oh yeah, nitpick. You said before. My nitpick was Ben. Two things. Ben became the historian when Mike was the historian. So basically, Mike just became a random black kid. Like, you know, that was it. He lost who he was. So that's one nitpick. Two, it was like the kid Ben was falling down the hill, and then when he fucking lands on his feet, his hair's mint. This kid just fucking was in a dust fucking tree forest fall, and he lands and he looks like he just fucking did a comb over out of the shower.
See, the only thing that I noticed that I kind of was like, well, this doesn't make all that much. Like, obviously being a huge fan of the original one, I fucking knew what they were talking about, but Pennywise says beep beep Richie, but not anywhere else in the movie do any of the kids say beep beep Richie. So like, knowing the original movie, I knew what the fuck it was, and was like, was that literally just thrown in there for the fucking like people who want the nostalgia shit? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
even if they had one of the kids once say beep beep Richie earlier on, it would have made more fucking sense. Like, if this younger kids now going to see this shit who've never seen the original, they're gonna be like, what the fuck does that mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, the whole gazing up and the kids floating and all that.
Yeah.
Dude, they didn't even talk about that. They just did it. I was like, okay. I mean, yeah, we could skip the kitty gangbang, you know? We don't need to see that. But come on, explain about the gays and all that shit and the kids floating. It was just, you know, little tiny things.
And they were kind of like all the implying about how the little girl, what the fuck?
Beverly.
Implying that like she has a reputation of being like, you know, a slut or whatever. I was like, are they gonna really go there with all these little fucking kids? Because you know, I've tried to read the book on numerous occasions. I just don't have the attention span to read something that fucking big. I'm not even gonna try to lie about it. Eventually, I'm gonna finish the whole friggin' thing. But
what audio book? It's in the Cosmo Kramer experiment.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I gotta check that out then. I love that this fucking kid will go like on record live about, you know, his criminal activities, but he can't mention the fucking Instagram on any of his podcasts.
I'm not doing anything wrong.
I'm just breaking your balls, Joe.
I'm just watching movies with my friends.
Yeah, but I like, you know, when you know what fucking goes on in there, I was like, are they gonna go there with like all these little kids? Because that's gonna be crazy. But you know, they did it. I liked it, man. I don't understand why anybody be complaining about it.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. I thought Skarsgård did a great job as Pennywise. So the complaints definitely just took a point off from it being a picture perfect horror film. I really, really loved it.
Fucking sucked.
You didn't like it, Jimmy?
Piece of shit movie.
Piece of shit. No, it was cool. I enjoyed it. I was just fucking around, but no, I agree. I thought his Pennywise was different, and you can't like I said, I hate one of my biggest pet peeves of remakes is when people reference the original. I'm like, it's not the same movie. You cannot even compare. So the fact you can't look at it as like anything like the original. You can't look at Pennywise like Tim Robbins. You can't. So just take it for what it is. And I thought it was a cool character, and he did very, very well with it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the film adaptation, not the television miniseries adaptation. So, I mean, you can't even say, oh, film versus film, because that wasn't really a film. It's a totally different script writing. It's a totally different way of a narrative. You got restraints. So here you have restraints, obviously, but you have an R rating. Things could change. Plus, in the 90s, you know, they could have, what happened on this could have gotten put on the regular television except for the word fuck. Right? Otherwise, it could have gotten played on AMC.
Yeah,
You know
this
what I'm
wasn't
saying? So, you know, in retrospect, 1990 versus 2017 on television, different expectations. You know, that scene from the 1991 in Beverly's bathroom with the blood explosion was, I thought, holy shit, you know? And even the way it ended the miniseries, the first episode, you know, the blood on the wall, I was like, oh shit. As a kid, that was fucking scary. Now we're fucking numb to that shit because of everything that's out nowadays. So little kids are watching The Walking Dead and all the shit on regular TV. Then you're numb to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, man. Like when we were kids, Freddy was scary. Like if my son could watch that shit, like he watched Nightmare and he wasn't like freaked out by it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think they see shit differently. It's not as freaky as it was to us.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Because I have 2 different Pennywise shirts and I wear them around and shit. And people legit will be like, "Oh, I can't even look at your shirt." Like, still to this day, you know, I walk through fucking Disney World with a Pennywise shirt on, and there's people who literally like, get freaked out just by the sight of the original one. You know?
Yeah.
So
it's iconic.
Yeah.
You know? And like I said earlier, you know, someone like Mike, who was probably 20 when this movie came out, versus us, who was, you know, 8. It's a totally different way of looking at the film, so it leaves an impact on you. And that's, you know, people that are a couple of years older than us and a couple of years less than us. We're that generation that really experienced it. You know, Pennywise is it. I mean, fucking Curry's it.
Curry, yeah.
Did I say Tim Robbins?
I don't know.
I think I said Tim Robbins. We're gonna listen back. I'm pretty sure I said Tim Robbins. Sorry about that, Tim Curry.
Sorry, Tim Curry.
Yeah.
I know he's listening.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, I'm sure.
Anyway, I want to give a shout out.
Beverly.
Next weekend, I will be in Lexington, Kentucky at Scarefest, big horror convention down there. I will be meeting with Robert Englund and Kane Hodder and Tony Todd, all these guys. So I'm going to see if I can get any kind of sound bites with them. We'll see what happens.
Sweet. Kane Hodder, can we touch you on our show? That'll be fun.
It won't be rough.
Yo, that's crazy. That voice that just came in that you made sounded like the voice that night on the creepy Hurricane Harvey podcast.
What voice?
You don't remember the voice that came in that night?
Ghost that Jim was friggin' yeah.
Oh, I didn't listen back to it.
Oh man, no. We'll stay away from that for now. That's exclusive content.
Nah.
Yeah, we can't talk about it. If you would like to hear that special 3-hour episode, I think it was.
Yeah.
Please donate to the fund. I don't even know the webpage. What do you know what it is?
If you go into the group page, there's a link there. It says Hurricane Harvey podcast pack. We did a major episode with Jerry from Kill the Cast and my associates from the Horror Mafia podcast, BC Bill Castanelli and the Donnie himself. So we did a freaking marathon show, our top 5 non-horror movies, and man, we had fun, bro.
I believe the minimum.
Night.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Donation. Is that what the minimum is? A $10 donation for the episode?
Yeah, you get the pack of podcasts for $10.
Yeah. So small price to pay for everybody You want to hear these luscious voices again. All right, no dead air. What's everybody up to? Joey, where'd you go? Did we lose Joey?
We may have.
James?
I was waiting for him to chime in.
I think we lost Joey. They're coming for me. What the fuck? Who is it? Your neighbors? They want to give you some locks? Talk about Jamaican beef patties. But that was a really good episode. Yeah, I didn't expect it to go that long. We were talking about non-horror movies. Imagine if we were talking about horror.
Yeah.
That'd have been a 10-hour episode, dude. That would have been crazy.
I was also thinking, like, as we're doing it, I'm like, there's, what was there, 6 of us all together between us and then the guys from Horror Mafia and
it was me, you, Joey, Gary, Don, and Bill.
So you figure that's 5 movies each, 6 people. It's like, all right, we're gonna be talking about a lot of different movies. Even if we spend just a minute or 2 on each one, it's like,
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, I don't expect to do a non-horror show, but I thought it was a good idea for people who listen to all of us already, who are already fans of the shows, and they want to hear something a little bit different from the people who generally talk about horror. Yeah, and so if you want to get that episode and all the other episodes in the podcast pack, just go ahead and head over to the Death by Podcast /Slice and Dice page on Facebook, and you'll find a link to donate for the hurricane relief. So, yeah, don't be afraid. Head over there and help out. We got Joey back now.
Yes. Yo, my computer did some crazy shit, man. They're coming after Cosmo. My computer just blinked, shut off, and a white screen came on and said, your computer shut off for an uninspected error. And it was an Apple font I never seen before, and I'm using Apple, so shit like that's not supposed to happen.
We were talking about that voice. Maybe it came over and said, hey, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Shut up, dickhead.
Jim sent in the ghost after.
Oh man, here we go.
Shut the fuck up.
Speaking of which, how's the Hillview Manor? You've been up in there lately, huh?
The haunted hillviewmanor.com. Yes, we actually have our 3rd annual HillCon event this coming Saturday. So if you are in the Pittsburgh area, if you want to head down to Newcastle, PA, just go over to hauntedhillviewmanor.com and stop out at the convention. We have a lot of vendors who are, if you're not familiar with the building, it was an old folks' home. So they have patient rooms. So all the vendors are stationed in specific rooms. We also have speakers throughout the day. $10 entry fee gets you throughout the entire building to see all the vendors and the speakers. And then at 9 o'clock at night, we're having a public investigation that we will split people up. I'm pretty sure we're going to split people up in smaller groups and let you investigate the building and see if you can contact any of the spirits. So yeah. It's going to be a good time. It's our 3rd year running it. And Rochelle, the manager, she puts all her effort into this big event. And every year it gets better and easier and more fun. So looking forward to it. That's happening on Saturday at 11 a.m.
All right.
Yep.
Sounds good, bro.
Yeah.
Sounds like
so
a good time. And then afterwards, you can head down to Club Phoenix, catch some ghosts, catch some titties. It'll be great.
You don't want to do the investigation at night, just head down the hill. It's only about a 20-minute drive to Club Phoenix down there on Route 18 in Beaver Falls. But yeah, but also while I'm in Kentucky for Scarefest, we'll see if we can maybe do a little impromptu things. It will be a horror convention. Maybe we can do some shit down there. So we'll talk about that.
Excellent. Sounds good, dude. Well, I hope it works out, get a good turnout there. Seems like you guys got a good little thing going down there, and hopefully you capture a lot of shit and could share it with us.
We have years and years of evidence we've captured over there. So, Rochelle does an incredible job and lets all of us who help out around there and give tours and gives us access to the place and gets to meet a lot of cool people in the paranormal field. And, so if you are in the area listening to the show, please don't be afraid. Head over to hauntedhillviewmanor.com and check out all the events we have, all the investigations. You can do private, public, daytime tours. So, head over.
All right. Sounds
don't be afraid.
Fucking great. And it's only a $10 entry fee. Right, Rochelle? Shout out to Rochelle. She,
Yes, $10 fee.
She's your PIC, right?
She is.
Excellent.
We actually, Hillview Crew Radio is our podcast that we put together. So, or no, that was our original one, and then we do Cross the Line with Jim and Rochelle. So, we have our own little show over there. We do live from Hillview sometimes, talk about paranormal and all that kind of shit. And apparently, we're not splitting anybody up. So, if you come to the public investigation that night, you're just going to be roaming free and doing whatever the hell you want to try to talk to ghosts.
Sounds fucking great, man. Sounds like a plan. I want to make my way down there one day. Get the shit scared out of me. Experience something. So, what else is crack-a-lacking, boys? Anything? Anything else? Before we head into our excursion into the world of Insidious.
I don't think I have anything new. I think I covered everything I've been up to. Yeah, James, you got anything happening?
Nah, man, that's about it. Yeah, that's all I got, man.
All right, let's end the episode now. Okay, thanks everybody.
All right, see you later.
Do this.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Good night.
I made my wife watch the Predator for the first time.
Oh, thank you, James, for the Predator voodoo code.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I've fallen in love with the Blu-ray bin at Walmart. They have like Blu-rays for like $7. So I came across Predator and Predator 2 on there. We watched the first one. My wife never seen it before, so we made her watch it. And a friend of mine's daughter was staying by us, so she'd never seen it either. She's like 16 or something, so she watched it for the first time too. And I don't know, they didn't seem as in love with it as I was. My wife was laughing at me basically. She's like, "Really?" Like, especially when like the Predator, he does the laugh at the end, like when the bomb's about to go off. She was like, "Oh my god!" But yeah, it was a good time. Haven't watched that in a while.
It's been a while. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna put that on with Gigi. Get her to watch it with me one day. Yeah, it's funny though how like certain things don't hold up the way we imagine them to. You know, even when I went to go see it, right? I went to go see it with 4 buddies, and 2 of them liked it. One of them loved it. One of them liked it, and the other 2 didn't like it. So it's like, one of them, I'm like, I don't think you even like horror movies, actually, now that I'm thinking about this. So it's like, that's one, you know, but I don't like, I was like, what's not to like about the film? Let's talk about it. And it's like a 6-year-old would like this. And I'm like, you don't get a fucking solid, like, listen, I teach fucking college writing. We talk about the argument essay, and that's a skill that teaches you how to back up your argument with evidence. So, I'm just trying to have a conversation and understand what you didn't like about the film. You're not getting straight answers. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, are you just, like James said before, a hater to be a hater? Or, you know, what's the dealio?
That's basically it, man. If enough people like something and you hate it, like, you just don't like it because it brings other people enjoyment and you're a miserable prick. That's what I decided.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, you know, it's I don't know. What are you gonna do? But anyway, and that might stem into this trilogy we're about to cover, because this seems to be one of those films that the masses enjoyed, though my pretentious ass wouldn't watch because it's a Hollywood film, right?
We will drag you out of your snobbery by the time this is all said and done, Joe.
Drag me into the further.
Deeper into the further.
Hey, man, we made you watch all the Purge movies. You like those?
Yeah. I did the Purge. I did the Sinisters.
So get off your high horse, you bitch.
But we still have to cover the Sinister movies, by the way.
Oh, yeah. We got a lot of things we're supposed to do still. The Woodsboro Brothers. What up, Woodsboro Brothers? They were supposed to come on the show. I'm actually going to pop on their show in a couple of weeks. I made them a new theme song.
Awesome.
Hey, what were you talking about? What were you talking about promos or some shit today. That you said you're doing one for Mafia. Why aren't we doing one for this?
That's a good question. I don't know. The Don wrote out a whole script for us.
Yeah, what I didn't want to do.
We're gonna fucking get out the video camera and film it. Action.
That's awesome.
We'll start playing up as a commercial break in between shows and shit. Like we'll play others, they'll play us.
Don's got the old camera where you gotta put your hand to your eye and turn your fucking thing like the Hollywood Blondes. Remember the Hollywood Blondes? Pillman and Stone Cold?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Speaking of wrestling, I do want to say on Netflix that new series Glow about the female wrestling show. It's not bad. I watched the first episode. It's not bad.
I watched the first like 4 episodes or so. I keep forgetting to go back to it and finish it.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah, I was enjoying it. I liked what I saw so far. It's just one of those things where it kind of got put on the back burner because I got busy, and now it's like every once in a while, if I'm going through Netflix, I see the little thing for it. I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta finish watching it.
I kept seeing stuff about it, and then last night I said, "Fuck it, I'm putting it on." I pressed play, and I just let it play for a couple episodes, and it wasn't bad. I'll finish it up.
Sweet. Yeah.
Did either one of you guys watch Glow when you were kids?
I knew of it, but I never watched it.
Me and my sister used to watch it all the time. We were like actual like Glow fans. Any wrestling I could get my hands on when I was little.
Glow, little glowworm.
And I remember thinking it was cool when I was little, but then like
know that song? My grandfather and grandmother, they always used to sing that song back in the day. I used to sleep over. Glow, little glowworm, glimmer, glimmer.
I'll sing everybody to sleep.
Sorry. Sorry, James. Okay, tell us about when you used to wrestle with your sisters.
Oh man, no, I was just saying, like when I was a kid, we thought it was so cool. And a couple of years back, they actually had like a Glow documentary on Netflix, and I watched it, and they were showing like clips from the actual show, and seeing it like as a grown up, I was like, this is the stupidest fucking thing there was. Like they made like rap videos and shit, and it was just really bad wrestling and ridiculous acting.
So did Chicago Bears, and that was like one of the best things ever made.
The football team?
Yeah. Man,
the Bears.
The what was it called? Can't remember what it was called now. The Super Bowl Shuffle? Yeah.
Oh, no clue.
You'll love it. Watch it now. It's fucking hilarious.
I mean,
right now. I'll play it right now.
Is that like the Yankee song? Let's go Yankees. How you doing? How you doing? Yankees. How you doing? Remember that shit? No. You're not from New York. You wouldn't remember it.
Yeah.
In
And
New York.
The New York Knicks song. Remember? Go New York, go New York, go. The Knicks song.
Everybody's making songs about the fucking Pirates.
Go.
Go Penguins, go Penguins, go. Yeah.
We just use other songs and make them ours.
Oh, like how I do my theme songs for everybody.
I don't know, give a little moment of silence. Rest in peace, Bobby the Brain Heenan, by the way.
Oh, yeah, man.
The late, great Bobby the Brain Heenan. I think that was the first time we actually had a real moment of silence.
Yeah.
Not like, yo, shout out to Toby Hooper for Great Snake and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and dying recently.
Yeah, he was one of the best personalities in wrestling of all time, and that's a shame, but it happens.
Yeah, I remember how I yearned for his commentating when he left as a kid, just like knowing like it's not the same without Bobby the Brain.
Real quick, I'm gonna go ahead and play a little snippet of the.
Give a look and a listen to their Super Bowl.
Oh my!
Walter Payton, Jim McMahon,
doing that stuff. What Chicago Bears? The Bears.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Oh man.
Right.
Well, let's take a quick break and we'll come back with the Insidious films. Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
So we're back. And we're here to talk about the Insidious films. Are we really taking a break?
Who the hell said we're taking a break?
You're the one who said it. I thought maybe
I
you had like actual reason to take
No,
a
I
break.
don't know. I'm just fucking around. We never take breaks on Slice and Dice. That's
I
why.
know, man.
I thought you actually wanted to like go somewhere.
I know,
take
like maybe you
breaks,
gotta
we
take
take
a piss
pisses
or
with-
something.
Yeah, no, we pee right on there. Fuck it.
I'll be right in the cup.
Right in the cup.
Oh
Right.
my god.
Right out the window. Anyway, all right, for real. Let's talk about Insidious here. So
Chapter 1, 2, and 3.
I've this is the first time watch all three of these to me. So, you know, I guess I'll give my my insight first on the original. But first, Jimmy, let's get the synopsis.
Yeah, luckily I knew you were going to ask for that, but I didn't have it up. But I can, I guess.
He can.
Insidious. Do you have a release date for Part 4? By the way, I don't remember. I don't know when it's coming out.
I believe January 18th. I want to say
You just made that up.
January 5th. January 5th.
That sounded like a
Insidious
fun day.
The 18 is the year. January 2018. Yeah.
Insidious. If you haven't seen it, there will be some spoilers in this episode. So if you don't want to hear the spoilers, please watch the movies and come back and listen to our review. But Insidious Chapter 1 was released in 2010, and it's basically about a family looking to prevent evil spirits from trapping their comatose child in a realm called the Further.
The Further. And no, we're not talking about the Grateful Dead rendition.
Starring
The
Patrick.
Further Bus.
The original title of the movie was supposed to be The Further.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Starring Patrick Wilson, who's also in the Conjuring films. So he played Ed Warren in the Conjuring films. So he's been in the public eye for a while, for the last about 7 years now. So that's cool.
He
Right.
It's the same director, right?
Yes, James Wan.
Yeah.
He directed the first and the second one, and then the third one was directed by Lee Winnell.
They did Saw also.
Right. So Lee Winnell is Specs from the movie. So he wrote the films and then takes over as director for Chapter 3 and not Chapter 4. Somebody else is directing Chapter 4. Adam Robitil. Lay wrote the screenplay, but Adam, who did Taking the Deborah Logan and Contracted Phase 2 and Paranormal Activity, the Ghost, fucking whatever that one was. Yeah, so he's got some expertise here in these genres, so we'll see what happens.
He actually plays in the original Saw. He plays the other guy that's tied up in the bathroom throughout the film. Not Carrie Elways, but the other guy. That's who we're talking about right now. If you want to put a face to the name, if you didn't see the films, I guess. But he's part of a paranormal investigation duo in these films, so that's
Oh yeah, they're the comic relief, and his partner Angus Sampson. Oh man, he's hysterical, and it's funny because I just seen him recently in a movie called what was it? Dig Two Graves, I think it was called. Something like that. Dig Two Graves, maybe. Maybe it wasn't him. I don't know. But anyway, I don't know if it was him or not. But he reminded me of this villain. Oh no, it was 100 Bloody Acres that he was in. Remember, Jimmy? We were supposed to do that with Bill Casanelli. 100 Bloody Acres. Yeah, he was in that one. He was the one of the brothers, and he was fucking great. So I was surprised to see him in these movies.
I'm looking at this film. 100 Bloody Acres. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I knew it was something. I thought it was Dig Two Graves that I saw this year, but I was mistaken.
I also don't want to. Well, before you go on, I don't want to ignore anybody in this film, but we got Lynn Shay, who is an incredible actress, married to Bob Shay, who is responsible for pretty much all the Nightmare on Elm Street films. The production, he works for a production company, New Line. Barbara Hershey, great actress from The Entity. Love that film back in the day. So yeah, there's a lot of good actors in there.
Barbara Hershey, Hannah and Her Sisters. That was a great film. Woody Allen.
He married his daughter.
I guess so. Something like that.
Fuck.
Hey, whatever floats your boat.
They all float down here, Woody.
Then we get. I just want to know, James, what'd you think of these two kids?
Oh, the kids in the movie?
Well, Dalton and Foster. Yo, as soon as I heard them say their names, I was like, James is gonna not like these kids because of their names.
Yeah, I'm not. Come on, man.
Hey, Foster. Come here, Foster. Come here, Dalton. Yes, Dalton, you are going to be fucking captured by a spirit because your name is Dalton.
Yeah, I would say if you want to wish evil on your kid, you give him a terrible name.
Yeah. Come here, Mordecai. Come here, little Mordecai.
A couple little fun pieces of trivia about this movie, though. Ethan Hawke, who was in the first Sinister movie, he actually turned down the lead role of this film. Something about when the logo of Insidious flashed on the screen, you can barely see, or you can clearly see the letters D-I-O highlighted, which means God in Italian. So that's...
We're already on trivia here?
I'm just reading shit, dude. This is only the first movie, so I'm talking about the first film, not all the films.
Yo, what about Little Saw on the wall?
Little
on
Saw
the chalkboard.
Yeah, Billy from Saw, yeah.
Billy the Kid. I was like, huh? Yo, what about the names of some of the characters in here? Were they like named after the Warrens? And the dog's name was Warren and Leslie. I was a little.
Well, I know Warren was definitely a shout out to Ed and Lorraine Warren from, Conjuring, but I mean they were real actual paranormal investigators. But I don't know about any other names.
Yeah, I guess also seeing Patrick Wilson, I didn't realize that it was the guy from The Conjuring, and I don't know. It just felt. I guess James Wan directed it. It just felt so similar. Like the whole like tone and atmosphere felt like it could be in the same fucking universe.
I think they all are connected in some way. If you look at a lot of the fan theory, I guess. But yeah, James Wan, he directed Insidious 1 and 2. He did Conjuring 1 and 2. They all have their hands in these movies. They all do kind of run together, I guess. They have the same feel, but they definitely are completely different franchises, I guess. But I could see where they can maybe live in the same universe.
Right. Yeah, man. Yeah.
All right,
I guess so.
No more trivia. I'm done.
Oh, keep going if you got it.
I'm leaving.
Wow.
So let's talk about the actual film for a moment. Let me bust open my notes here. Wah, wah. So the first film I took notes. The second two I just watched straight through. I didn't have nothing to write really. But basically the family, they're moving into this house, right? And you meet the two sons, the baby daughter, husband, wife. What do we got here? We don't know exactly yet, right? We know it's some kind of paranormal entity, but the thing that throws you off is you think it's going to be like Amityville, classic haunted house type film. But they actually throw things for a loop here. The way the whole, I guess, supernatural haunting occurs is through the child rather than through the home or, and they come up with this whole little theory, right? We mentioned the words before, the further. So there's this whole basically afterlife spot where we go to, well, not always, but they basically, set parameters for what happens after you die. And that's actually goes throughout these films and it builds and builds up with each film. So I thought that was actually pretty cool. But Yeah. I thought overall, this was a good film, Insidious. Um, I like the atmosphere here. I like that he kind of like has multiple different kinds of ghosts here, almost like he does in the other films, Conjuring, which are getting their own movies now, right? The Nun, Annabelle. I think another one might be coming out. But
Yeah, they're doing a Crooked
you know,
Man's getting his own movie. I know that.
so here you have like a multitude of ghosts, and you have the red lipstick ghost at the top, the main monster, but then you have like a henchman basically who's the long-haired fiend, and then you get the old woman. Um, you get the boy, right? The little boy that jumps out of the fucking closet. That was nuts. I was like, holy shit. And in most haunting movies, it's like, is this real? Is this really happening? Like, no, this is happening. You know this from the get-go. Like, she's seeing this. The ghost is touching her. Like, something's moving. You know what I'm saying? There's no question about it.
I can't remember what episode it was, but this is a film before we even decided to do the whole trilogy, or the first three films. This is one that I told you both that being a paranormal investigator, that this is probably one of the closest adaptations to what I believe paranormal realms to be, different planes of existence, a very thin veil between our world and theirs. And this is a very clear-cut example of that. They can come and go in our world. We can come and go into their world. This is, that's why I enjoy these films a lot. Well, the first one definitely, but because I believe that that's pretty much the closest rendition to what it actually is. Like, you can hear knocks. You can, if they knock on the other side, we can still hear a knock over here. And that's pretty much what happens when we are investigating. So it's, I think their idea of what it is in that world, and that we can actually cross over that way sometimes. And the astral projection is something that I was actually familiar with as a child. And call me crazy or not, anybody can laugh at me, whatever. But I do remember being able to do that when I was a child. And it is a real thing.
Sorry, I had to do it.
It is a real thing, and it is a real science. And so all the topics in this film really hit home with me. So that's why I like it so much.
I was just going to say the astral projection aspect of the film. I thought that was a great way to like give some, validity to what's going on here, rather than just saying, oh, there's ghost and this is the further. No, this like kind of tied everything together and brought it full circle. Like, no, see, this is what happens when you have these out of body experiences, and we talked about on an earlier episode where we talked all about that stuff. Fucking, what's it called? The sleep paralysis, right?
Yep.
And you mentioned that you dealt with that and all that shit. So, but like you said, this dates back to fucking, the 1800s here, astral projection. Even ancient Egypt and China and all this other shit has little touches of it, But it really it gives it sense. It gives it some stability rather than just like, oh, there's ghosts floating around and shit like that. It gives you fucking like some ground to work with here. And I like that. So like I said, I thought the way that he built these ghosts was interesting because I thought they could be kind of like their standalone ghost stories, like each one had a different story. Each one has a background. It's not like he just made this random ghost here, where like in the later sequels, you get into like you're in a room and there's like 100 ghosts surrounding you. Here you have about 5, maybe 4 even, and these are the ones that are trying to get into the human body, because the whole thing is, there's ghosts who are ghosts, like the people who go and they're good and they go into, I don't know if it's heaven or wherever it is, a good place. Then there's ghosts in the bad place, but in the bad place you have different levels of ghosts. You have ghosts that are just hanging around. You have ghosts who want to come into your human body to just be alive again, and there's ghosts that want to come into your body, human body, so they could fucking kill people and do malicious shit. So again, they really built on this in this film, and I thought that was great. I was really pleasantly surprised with Insidious, I gotta say.
Yeah, and it's just close. Like I said, it's people always ask us, like, if you don't believe in heaven, you don't believe in hell. If they're ghosts, that means they didn't go anywhere. Blah blah blah. I'm like, no, they can. There's many different options, and this is what that's saying. Like, there obviously isn't, an infinity amount of ghosts around, because I believe people do go on. Not everybody stays around, but the ones that do, there are different types, and I've encountered different types throughout the years. And like I said, this is just a very good example of that. And I don't know if James Wan or any of them involved with these movies have anything to do with paranormal investigating, but if they do, they hit it on the head, if you're asking me. James?
Yeah, man, I pretty much agree with everything you guys have said. I've always been fascinated by the idea of like astral projection or whatever the fuck it's called. I had a buddy who knew a guy, actually Joey knows him, who kind of told him he could do it, and of course my friend kind of laughed it off, and he said, well, when you go home, write something on a piece of paper and put it on your refrigerator, and and the next time he saw him, he fucking was able to tell him what he wrote on the thing. He wrote asparagus on a piece of paper and put it on his refrigerator.
Yeah.
And fucking next time he saw him, and Joey knows who it is and knows if where this kid was at. There's no way this guy, unless he broke into his house while he was sleeping, would be able to see his refrigerator from anywhere to find out what he wrote on it. And just that whole idea, that to me is crazy and awesome. And
whoever was contacted the other one's sister and asked them what's on the refrigerator.
Nah, I'll tell you later. I don't want to say his name.
If you read up on it and everybody's interested in it, you can find it's actually a skill. I mean, you can hone as a skill and learn how to do it, and it has a lot to do with being at the first stages of sleep. How there are different levels of sleep that you can get into with your brain, and being able, you can actually like plan it with somebody else, like meet me at this location, and people actually have done that, and they can both wake up and say, what did I say to you? And they can each say what they said. It's definitely a interesting thing, the way your brain and it opens your eyes to the spiritual world. I mean, if it's obviously you're leaving your physical form if you're able to do it. So, that just leads credence to the paranormal fields. After you're out of your physical body, what's going to happen to you?
Right. Okay. Hypnosis, right? Hallucinogenics, they all can take you to these places. And, it's not like, oh, I could just do this. No, there's a gateway, right? There's a door that you need to open, because if it was that way, everybody would be in tune. You know what I'm saying? It's not meant to be like that.
It's not easy.
So whether it's, you fucking get in there through, smoking or ingesting some DMT or peyote and taking a fucking trip to wherever you go, like, the teachings of Don Juan's The Aki Way of Knowledge by Carlos Castaneda. He did he went to go do like an I can't even fucking talk. Anthropological study in Mexico with this tribe, and he ends up meeting this guy, Don Juan. He's a shaman, and basically takes him on this spiritual adventure, man. And he writes all about this stuff. It's there for a reason. I mean, I'm not saying this is definitive or not, but hey, it's not like one of these things where some guy just made it up like Scientology in the 1950s. This is something that's been around for hundreds of years, and like I said, not definitive, not saying, oh, this is yes or no, but hey, it exists whether we believe in it or not, right? Like, you can't say there's no such thing as astral projection because we're talking about it. You might say it's ineffective, right? But does that make sense?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say anything. If anybody ever tells somebody that something isn't true or doesn't exist, they're just showing their stupidity, basically. If I'm concerned, if you believe that you know everything, or you have the answers to something, or you can say that something isn't true, that's just straight up stupidity to me. I'm open to pretty much anything. With what I've seen firsthand over the years, there's no way in hell I can say that something isn't real or doesn't exist, or you can't do this, can't do that. I might not believe in everybody who believes in it, like if like psychics or anything like that. Like, I know for a fact there are just a ton of fakes out there, but I'm not going to sit here and say it doesn't exist. You know what I mean? But there are people out there that are just so quick to say, nope, it sounds stupid, it's fake, I'm going to laugh, it's, blah, blah, blah. But, oh well, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm ready to take an astral trip. Let's go.
We should all three get together and think of a place to meet up and see if we can get it done.
Yeah, we'll record an episode in the further.
We'll go to sleep with our webcams on us, record the video, and see what we do in our sleep, and then we wake up and we talk about what happened.
I saw all these like when they first came out.
Yeah, I've seen all these in the theater, by the way.
Yeah, going back and rewatching it for this. Did the further remind anybody else of the Upside Down and Stranger Things?
I've never watched it.
I never see Stranger Things is a good show.
It crossed my mind real quick, but it didn't like sit there throughout watching them. You know what I mean? But it definitely, now that you said it in retrospect, it's just missing the starred dot thingies.
Yeah, like the little
spores.
Yeah, the orbs, Jim. It's just
the
dust.
Orbs.
Oh, they're filming dust and calling it Stranger Things, huh?
Yeah, man. Well, Stranger Things, I mean, they will probably admit they borrow so much stuff from other shit and they just manage to throw it all in a pot and make it good. I wouldn't be surprised if this had some kind of influence on the way that they filmed the shit, at least.
Well, they said they have a lot of they mirror it a lot too. Is that anything close to it?
Stranger Things, the camaraderie with the group of kids, I would say. I mean, it's only 8 episodes, dude. It's a good. I love the fucking show. I ended up watching it. I just realized the other day because I just watched it with my fucking son again. I've seen it like 4 fucking times now.
Yeah.
The new season's coming out. So I watched it the original time I watched it. One time I was bored, I had nothing to do, so I put it on. And then once I start something, I got to finish it. So, and like I said, it's only 8 episodes. So
yeah, get in and out.
Yeah, then my son wanted to watch it, so I watched it with him and fucking.
I'll get in and out.
Yeah. But this movie was cool, man. I liked all the jump scares. I liked, the way, like every horror movie, it always kind of happens to the woman first and the husband doesn't believe her until fucking shit gets crazy. But that whole scene with the baby monitor, like,
oh yeah,
to me, these movies build suspense.
I was gonna
I did play that intro, by the way.
Oh yeah, that was the intro was fantastic. It really was. This scene does little things that I like. For example, the scene with that when after the kid he goes into the coma, and the nurse is showing the mother about the NG tube, how to put it in, Yeah, and it's just like goes into like slow motion. I thought that was really well done. It really shows the emotion, but it also shows the exposition on what kind of character the mother is. So I thought that was done really well. I really did. I really couldn't believe how much I enjoyed this one, actually. There was definitely, it had the cliche tropes, which brought it down a couple of points in the rating. But again, that's also something that it's hard to beat around the bush, I mean, when you're dealing with ghosts, you've been influenced with ghosts for how many years in cinema?
You gotta have a scary attic.
Gotta have a scary attic, right? So, and the jump scares, right? A little on the cheese side, some of them. But yeah, are we ready to rate these bad boys? Are we gonna anything else? So I gotta open my notes. Let's talk about the ending real quick.
Well, I did want to ask you both about what you thought. What are your thoughts on the jump scares? They are ridiculous in all of these films, but we are focusing on part 1, I guess, right now, maybe, but all of them. Like there were times where it hurt my fucking ears. Like I had to like turn it down because they were so loud.
Mhm.
And do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing as far as the horror movie goes?
Jump scares don't bother me. I like them.
Did you think they improved these films, or do you think
I think, yeah,
you relied on them?
specifically, I don't know if it relied on them because the like I said, the suspense building up, like that whole thing when she's listening to the fucking baby monitor and she's hearing the voice, and then the friggin' voice, like now she could hear it because it just got so loud in the house. You know what I mean? Like up to that, these movies legitimately, like I watched with my wife, and I remember they kind of freaked me out after I watched them. Like it put me in an uneasy way for a while, and movies don't normally do that to me.
Right. I normally jump scares, they don't bother me unless they're done non-fucking stop. Like that new Blair Witch was ridiculous. Like over the top, like fucking 700 fucking jump scares in a 82-minute movie. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, it's not that serious. But when done right, like in It, very, very effective. And also, I think in the first one here, it was done right. It wasn't. See, the problem with watching these movies is, especially like back to back, I did a double header one night with 1 and 2, and then the next night 3. So it's all like mishmashed in my head, you know?
Yeah. The first one is like she's laying in bed and the thing is pacing back and forth outside the window. And then all of a sudden it was in the fucking room. Like to me, that shit was cool, man.
Yeah. That shit was sick.
And I actually jumped a couple times because of the loudness. But you know, they have good. Like I said, like I thought maybe they could have not been so. Like there's actually YouTube videos of inputting the loud ass noises they use in like everyday life. It's pretty funny. But yeah, when I was making the intro, I had to like pull sound clips and shit. But I was watching a few of those things, pretty funny. But there were a few times where I forgot because I only watched these movies like once, so I forgot what was going to happen. And I did find myself jumping, and if you can make that happen, then it can't be that bad, I guess.
The little boy in this, like there's a scene she's kind of walking through the house, and at one point, like she doesn't notice him, but he's like just standing in the corner, like with his back to her. And then she goes outside and she sees him like fucking fake dancing and shit. And she's running through the house trying to find him and stuff. That whole scene was dope. And that kind of hit a chord with my wife because she had an experience in the apartment she grew up in Brooklyn where her and her sisters would see a little boy who was like dressed similar, like from that fucking era with like the little paper.
Like a newsie?
Yeah, like a newsie. And she had seen like a full body apparition of that as a teenager. She ran into the house to get some. She heard something and she looked, and a little boy dressed like that went crawling across the floor fucking behind her into a room. And she ran out the house. But you know, but after that happened to her, she had found out that her sisters had seen it in the house and shit too. So that shit was creepy as fuck.
Yeah. Speaking of like the way people find out, again, like the way the thing I like about this movie, it's like real. Like the husband, he's like, no, no. But then like once there's like, yo, dude, there's really a fucking ghost here. He's on board. Like, shit, she's not fucking around.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what it was? The thing, one of the things I kind of didn't like about it was all the ghosts in it were cool. The fucking little kid, the dude with the long hair, the friggin' whatever the other ones were, I can't think of right now. But
the old lady and the red face.
The old lady and the main villain in this fucking thing, the lipstick face, whatever the fuck he's been dubbed, like he just looked like fucking Darth Maul to me. The first time I saw him, I was like, "What the fuck is this guy doing?" Like, and to me, for that dude, like he just looked kind of corny.
Right. Yeah. I could see that. I mean, by the third movie, I was like, okay, this guy again, you know, in that last part. But, you know, I thought he was creepy as fuck here. It didn't take me out of the movie watching him. But now you say he looks like Darth Maul, like he definitely looks like Darth Maul. I didn't think of Darth Maul while I was watching it.
When I first saw it, I think that's the first thing I thought of. But yeah, like the first time he appears behind, you know, the dad, Josh. That was like the first time jump scare, I guess, for the first movie with his face in it. But then the scene with the ukulele song and bad. Yeah, I thought he was a pretty good character and a good demon.
Yeah, he just, I don't know. He looked too like, I don't quite understand. Like, to me, he looked like, why would a demon be wearing fucking face paint? And you know how much I love face paint and masks.
Well, I don't think you're supposed to look at it as face paint.
I know, but it's just, to me, I looked at it and I saw a face paint. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't know. I definitely wasn't bothered by him. I was bothered by the dad as a character. Like, dude, you're fucking over here grading papers till fucking 10:30 at night while you're leaving your fucking kids and wife at home with a ghost, and you know it. Like, he subconsciously knew it. All of a sudden, you're staying late at work. Like, I was getting pissed at the father.
Yeah, he just kind of checked out. Like, the kid's all fucked up. She's complaining about ghosts. I don't want to go home, so I'll stay at work all night.
Well, that's the thing is, I think when you delve into that, at that point he didn't know about anything. He didn't remember anything about his childhood, but I think it was kind of like creeping back to him. So subconsciously he knew I need to stay away from the situation. So you kind of can't look at it as him like leaving his family alone. I think something in his mind might have been telling him I shouldn't be around this. So that's probably why he was staying away. But that's just all speculation, I guess, on my end. But it could have, until
that makes sense, actually, Jimmy.
Until they open his mind back up. But you learn anything with like hypnotism, and even if they do make you stop doing something, it's still in your mind. It's in the back of your mind somewhere. So maybe his mind was just like telling him, stay away, get away, stay in the classroom, don't go home, deny. But he knew, yes, this is real, but he didn't want to believe it.
Yeah. I mean, he up and moved the whole family with, because the wife said so. And it's like, you just moved your whole family. You kind of believe it, right? I know you're saying, oh, whatever you want, hun, but like, oh yeah, you're just gonna fucking wing it. And then like, how much money do you guys have? You're a fucking high school teacher, and the wife seems like a struggling musician. So what the fuck kind of money do you guys have? Well,
after Elise comes in for the first time, the wife, that's what he says to her basically is, you don't believe me, or the wife says that, and he says, I moved houses for you. So obviously he believes her, but he is so afraid to believe that he, says that the psychic's fake, and he kicks everybody out of the house, but he knows in the back of his mind, like, this is real shit.
Right, yeah. So speaking of that, he had the same, so he can do the astral projection also. And he had the same problem, just like his son, when he was 8 years old. And Elise, who is Lin Shaye's character, she took care of the problem for him. That's how the mother knows her. And
ability / problem.
Yeah, they go into the the old black and white flashback, and they basically suppress his ability and memory to make him stop forgetting about all this and make him not remember. And that's it, man. So basically, the end of the film is the father going into the further to get his son. And the long and short of it is, I guess we got to say what happens because it picks up right after in 2. So he gets the son, comes back, right? What happens when he's in the further? He's looking in the mirror at this old woman, and next thing you know, he comes back from the further and fucking chokes out Elise.
Well, we did skip a part there. Throughout the film, we do find that when he was a child, haunted by this old woman, quote unquote, ghost, and that's why they took the ability away from him, because he was haunted by this spirit, and then he came in contact with her as an adult at the end of the film. So that's what leads into the old woman coming back and finding him, and leads us into part 2. But yeah, all the spirits are coming through the house. Everybody's seeing them, and then they finally come back into their physical form. And but the best scene, would be the end, I guess. About the end is when Elise takes a picture of him, and he flips out, and we find out that we'll go into part 2, I guess, but she saw that it wasn't actually Josh.
Yeah, that was a beautiful touch.
Yeah, and he does choke Elisa and kill her, and We'll tell you why there are sequels featuring her after this.
Yeah, and I thought it ended abruptly too. It was like, well,
Yeah.
that's it.
Well, they literally picked straight up from part 1 to part 2. So
Yeah.
I like when they do that. But yeah, before we go into part 2, let's rate these bitches.
All right. Maybe we'll rate them all at the end in one shot. No.
You want to rate the whole franchise, or you want to go one by one? I don't care. Whatever you want to do.
We'll do our one by one at the end and like that.
All right.
Let's save it. Let's see.
Sweet.
So, episode 2, chapter 2, right?
Yep.
Chapter 2. Do we want to synopsis this one?
Well, it basically, I didn't look it up yet, but it basically picks up from where part 1 ends, and they're pretty much facing the same problems, but
Right.
the father Josh is definitely there's something off with him, and we learn what, which we will discuss. But
Right.
he's the catalyst in this film, and he needs to come back from the further because he was stuck in the further.
Yes. Basically, now we get a police presence, right? Renee is being interrogated by the police to, find out what happened and why, what's the name? Elise died, right? Because at the end of the previous film, she was choked and murdered by Josh, but who was taken over by the old woman, right? So again, takes place there. Police investigating the house, right? They temporarily move to the old house of Lorraine Lambert, right?
Yep.
So Lorraine is the mother of Josh, right?
Yep.
And that's Barbara Hershey's character, who we get a lot more of in this one. So, like Jim said, it picks up, and we just get another haunting now, right? It's the woman in Josh. He's behaving strangely throughout the film, and the long and short of it is they, come to find out that he's the woman, right? But now at the end of the first one, she takes the picture and sees it. Here, Renee, the wife of Josh, she knows, but is almost like in denial. I was just like, come on already, just waiting for the reveal, What did you guys think about that?
James?
That kind of confused me. Like, she knows something's up with him. I don't know if don't they have like an argument where she's like, you think I did it, or something, like he says something like that to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, you think I did it? And no.
I don't think she knows how to wrap her head around what it is. I think she is confused. She saw the picture, obviously, but she also sees she sees him in front of her, with her own eyes. So that kind of screws with your mind too. You're like, I can see this. Seeing is believing. He's still here, but obviously it's not him. But she doesn't know how to react to it. And this all happens recent. Like, it's not like a year or so has passed. Like, this is all now. So
right. Yo, was the guy Carl in the first one too? No, right?
No.
With the dice? Okay.
No.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get my timeline here.
that was another character who worked with Elise during the original case with Josh as a child. They brought him back as an adult to try to help with this case. And I thought it was, when Elise wasn't in the film a lot, but he lent that little, professional paranormal feel to it, I guess. Had like a professor vibe to him.
Yeah, he definitely did. Yeah.
But his technique of communication is rolling dice around to ask the spirit questions and letting them manipulate the dice to answer the questions, which is something I know I've done screwing around, which never worked, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is the first time I really heard of that before. I've never really heard of rolling dice. Do you have any info on that?
No, it's just really just another form of investigation. It's no different than any other method we use, really. If I have never seen it work firsthand, it's something that I actually did jokingly last weekend when I was at Hillview. We have a board game with a 20-sided dice in it. I don't know what game it's from. It's not like Dungeons and Dragons or something like that, but I was like just sitting on the couch and I'm like rolling the dice. I'm like, who's in here? And like just screwing around. And then I watch this movie and I'm like, oh shit, they did it in this movie. But I've never seen it happen or work. But yeah, it's a cool little primitive technique, I guess you can call it.
All right. So the second one here, my take on this one as a whole, lackluster in comparison to the first one. Felt like they just were doing a quick cash grab. It's like, well, let's see what we can do with this now. Although it does feel like he made the first movie with intent to make a sequel, obviously. I mean, the way it ends. But I don't think he had what was going to happen plotted out, and here he just ran with it, It feels kind of forced in certain scenes. The acting between the husband and wife doesn't feel as fluid as in the first film. It feels kind of forced. I don't know if you guys picked up on that, but that's the vibe I was getting off of this one.
I don't know.
It didn't bother me. I gotta say, I enjoyed the first one when I saw it, but I actually liked this one. The way it tied into the first one might have made me like the first one more than I originally did after I saw the second one.
That's a good point. I
think
I like the whole mythos behind it. I like how it carries over. But then shit gets kind of confusing. And I brought up that character of Carl because I really liked him. I don't know. I really like that dude. Like, I want to hang out with him and roll dice with him. He was, I don't know, he just had this really calm demeanor. I felt like if I was in their situation, this guy would comfort me. He seemed like a very comforting character.
Yeah, he seemed like an OG from the paranormal field. Like he's like, I did this shit for years. Now I kind of lay low until I'm needed. Just
right.
Crazy shit. One of the best scenes is when he's in the home. I know I'm jumping around. Fuck it. But when he's in the home talking to Josh after they figure out what's going on and who the spirit is that's haunting Josh, and he's rolling his dice and he says he's talking to Josh, but he says Parker Crane instead of Josh. So that was a really good scene whenever we find out that no more games. Like, I know who you are type bullshit. So he was like, fuck it.
Yeah, I thought Parker Crane was an interesting character, like as a killer.
Yeah, I would have liked to see more like an actual movie just about that shit. I mean, they have the flashbacks and all that kind of stuff. When you kind of figure out what the fuck happened, is anybody else like, oh, this is like kind of sleepaway camp?
Like, you're kind of gender bender type of shit like that.
See, like that actually made sense to me, like especially with the scenes with the boy dressed up as a girl and all that, right?
Yeah.
But my question here was the ending, right? I know we're fast forwarding because honestly, like what happens from the beginning to the end is really just almost like a replay of the first one, except dealing with the father instead of the kid, and the kid's helping out instead of the father helping out. It's like the roles got reversed,
I think simple or not, I think that's kind of like, it was kind of on the nose of we're just going to switch roles here, But it made sense. It was more of a I don't know how to put it, but it was kind of like common sense, I guess. But it's still kind of a cool little turn of my dad needs my help type thing, and he was like. As a kid, he went through all this crazy shit, so now he's kind of like, I can handle this, and him going in and doing it and knowing how to handle it. And I thought it was cool to make his character, because the kids really didn't have a big part in this film, but at the end, Dalton kind of definitely jumped up and took over a little bit. Like, hey, motherfucker, I was chased by demons. I can handle shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I got taken out of the. I got taken away from the family. Like, I didn't care for these characters anymore. Like, I wanted more of Carl. I wanted more of Elise, which we get. I wanted more of the Parker character, Parker Crane. I love those fucking scenes. They were fucking crazy, bro. just the way he put it on the makeup, right? Dealing with the father, all this stuff. And all right, so we flash forward to the end here, right? Let's just talk about this here because I'm confused, right? Because we get back to the beginning again. We get scenes from part one that could have been left unanswered fine, which now become answered and gets confusing. For example, and the when he's a kid, right? Josh, the father, when he's a kid back in the flashback, right? He is sitting in a chair being hypnotized. And behind him is a figure. We don't know who this figure is in part one, part two. What do we find out? It's adult Josh from the further in the beginning. So, what the fuck is going on? Can one of you guys explain this to me?
See, I kind of like that whole aspect of the idea that when you're in the further, like, time and space
Yeah,
kind of moves differently.
Yeah, it's kind of like Back to the Future. Like he's seeing himself. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, like I was reading this fucking book called The Wisdom of the Mystic Masters or some shit, and it has this whole fucking idea that like when you go to this astral plane, you could choose to like stay around and deal with time like we have, or you could leave and like a lifetime in a physical form could go by in a blink of an eye.
mm-hmm.
So it's like the idea that he's able to fucking move around through time and space. I mean, I thought it was cool, and how it ties into that whole he's got your baby, that whole fucking little piece, and then it goes back to the first movie where the shit you thought was Ghost is actually fucking Josh trying to alert them to fucking the other ghost there, trying to get at the baby and all that shit.
Yeah, I don't know. See, I got taken away with that. Like in the first one where things are definitive, here it just goes up in the air. Like if they explain that a little better, I could roll with it, but it just happened. And I mean, you read that book, so it gave you insight into those ideas, but I wasn't even thinking about in the further, it could be like time travel. I didn't even think about that. They didn't really talk about it. It just happened. So that took me away because, like I said, in the first one, everything's calculated, right? You know what's going on, right? Here, up until that part, it's like, what the fuck just happened? And now that we're talking about it, right? It makes sense. Like being able to go and 20, 30 years prior in the further and visit yourself as a kid, I guess so. I guess that works, right? But then, when he was an actual kid in real life, right? Who was that? You know what I'm saying? If he was a kid, I don't see then he, like, where did he freaking pass himself in the paradox? I don't know. I start thinking about all this shit and it doesn't make sense to me, where the first movie makes sense. And I thought the ending fucking sucked here when it comes to that. And the second one I wasn't feeling. I was not feeling the second one. I think, production wise, it looked great. Don't get me wrong. Thought the music was still good here. And the jump scares were just a little too much, and the characters I fell away from. So, in my experience with this one was it couldn't hold up anywhere near the first one.
I agree with you. I'll put it that way. I definitely think the quality went down. I think it was mostly them trying to end this chapter, I guess you can say, of the family and all that kind of stuff, since the third one has nothing to do with them, basically. But yeah, I don't think it was as good, nowhere near as good as the first one. But I do see what they were trying to do. But yeah, I agree with you as far as losing a little bit of steam as far as quality goes.
Yeah. I don't know. It Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this was a total cash grab. I mean, the first film was 1.5 million budget, made a ton of money. This one was 5 million and still made a ton of money. So yeah, of course we fucking made 155 plus $1 million profit. Let's make a third one. So
It's all about money. Why the hell do you think we have fucking 58 million Friday 13th Nightmare on Elm Street Halloweens? It's all about money.
See, when I heard they were making a sequel, I was like, typical, gonna be a cash grab. But then when I saw all the people from the fucking first one were gonna be in it, I was like, they actually got me interested to check it out because I enjoyed the first one, but when I first saw it, I didn't enjoy it enough to like give a shit that they were making a sequel. You know what I'm saying? Because how many times they name something, part 2 or whatever, and it has next to nothing to do with the first one. And then I checked it out. Like I said, this one kind of made me enjoy the first one more because of all that moving through time shit that it did with him trying to get in touch with them and fucking, I don't know. To me, I enjoyed it. I mean, I don't think it was as good as the first one, but I didn't hate the fucking thing. And I thought that the fucking the Black Bride guy's mom, when she fucking pops up and slaps the shit out of the father and mother,
that was nuts.
that was fucking crazy.
Yeah. No, this movie definitely had a couple of cool spots like that for sure. But as a whole, like I said, I really feel like the family, the mother and the father, do not come anywhere near to the performance in the first one. The tone here, totally, I don't know. Although there are some scenes that still feel unsettling and creepy, as a whole, I'm not in that state of mind throughout the film like I was in the first one. I also think I remember thinking I should have probably wrote it down like, oh, this was a cheesy line. Like the dialogue here, I guess, becomes a little forced, a little cheesy. But yeah, man, a chapter 2, I guess. And chapter 3 comes next, and chapter 3 should have been the prologue, right? So, any last comments about the second one before we move
on? James will be right back, but no, I think we pretty much discussed it. I know James said something about Parker Crane. That we find out is the old woman that Josh has been seeing since he was a child. But he said something about his having a standalone film, and I'm thinking to myself, like, they did enough of the backstory stuff in this film that I don't need a standalone film. Like, I already know everything, pretty much what happened to him. It was like a Cliff's Notes version of from him being a child to why, what he was doing. And I don't know. What do you think about that?
I'd like to see the process of going on these kills and stuff as an adult from childhood into adulthood. I'd like to see the progression because as a child, in this film, you see him innocent and not doing anything malicious, just taking it, from the mother. Now he's an old man at the point where we find out he's a serial killer dressing up as a woman. So what happened in between, I would find that interesting. So I'm not opposed to that. But you make a good point. For this story, Insidious, you don't need any more. They give you enough to work with. So
yeah,
that character could go either way.
James, any final thoughts on part 2 or Parker Crane's character or anything like that?
Nah, I thought that the whole flashbacks to kind of explain who the fuck he was and shit were pretty cool. That scene of young Josh in the hospital when, they think this dude's on his deathbed and he fucking kind of pops up and attacks Josh when he's a kid. And the whole thing on the elevator with the mom. Yeah, the whole thing on the mother being on the elevator with them and then getting off and finding out that he fucking killed himself or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She was on the elevator with his ghost and shit. I thought all that whole little story there I thought that was cool enough to have been its own kind of fucking thing, away from the whole family and all that other shit.
You know, I watched this. I just thought of this. I watched this. You know, on the DVD, one of the special segments, whatever the fuck it is. You know, and the guy who plays the red lipstick monster,
Yeah.
is the guy who made the music.
Really?
Yeah. His name was Joseph Bishara.
Huh.
And he did the music for both of them. I'm not sure about the third one, but I mean, knowing this creepy music and the way it sounds and the way he moves, I think maybe I want to look at that and see the correlation, his actual physical movements in correlation with the sound. I'm curious to see that because, like I said, I mean, he didn't bother me by any means. I thought he was really creepy fucker, actually. And what you said also, James, too, unsettling. I remember coming down because I was up in my loft for like 4 hours watching these movies, and I came downstairs and it was fucking dark and quiet, and I went outside for a couple of rips, and I was just like, yeah, creep the fuck out. So, all right, well, let's move on to chapter 3, and then we'll rate these bad boys. So we go from part 1 and part 2 to a prequel, which is part 3. And James Wan, like we said earlier, his input on here is now limited. He's only a producer. Still written by Lee Wana, whatever you want to say, but now we get his directorial debut. So, we find out that Elise was retired and not trying to do any more, you know, paranormal stuff. So, what happens? The movie opens with a young girl who comes to visit her, and Quinn, yes. And basically, her mother's passed away, and she needs to speak with her. So she was told to go see her. Now, like Jim said earlier, we know, or maybe James, I don't remember. We no longer have the mother and the father characters, right? The family's gone. This is now focused on Lin Shaye's character Elise, and we get our comic relief back with Specs and the other dude that eats Hot Pockets at the job sites. And dude, did you notice when they show him in this one, he's eating something totally different?
What?
I can't remember now. Fuck, what was he eating? Because
He was eating a Hot Pocket at the end.
Yeah, at the end. But when he was in like his Mohawk Master of the Universe garb, he was eating something else. Maybe ice cream. I can't remember. But yeah, it wasn't Hot Pockets. I was like, you know, I was trying to think about all that shit and be like, what do we got here?
What color was the Hot Pocket?
Was it pepperoni and cheese?
What does that represent in ancient time?
Exactly.
The Hot Pocket in ancient Egypt.
Yo, let me ask you guys, what do you think of this guy, Dermot Mulroney?
In what sense? The real person or the character?
No, not the character, but the actor.
I don't know where you're going with this, so why don't you give us your thoughts? You have a hard time with Dermot Mulroney?
Well, first of all, I feel like he got a fucking stick stuck in his butt. I don't know. He's just I've seen him in so many things. He's in a fucking ton of movies, this guy. But he always just feels like his face is being scrunched down and it's like, you know, I don't know. It's weird. You guys,
he doesn't have a lot of personality.
You guys don't get any like vibes like you're fucking weirdo?
Oh, he doesn't have a lot of personality to me. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not like I'm very indifferent, I guess.
He was married to Catherine Kinnear for 17 years. So, you know,
all right.
Maybe After that, he went off the deep end. I don't know, but
I remember him from the Friends when he was banging Rachel.
what's it called? I don't think as the father he did a bad job in the film by any means, but I just think he's just I guess he's a character actor, you'd say, right?
Yeah.
Is that what they would call him? Character actor?
Yeah. I mean he's not. I don't know. I can't really name much he was in, to be honest with you, but
well, he was in Don Coscarelli's Survival Quest. I know that. He was in Young Guns. He was in that movie Copycat.
Yeah.
He was in, what else was he in?
Like he'd be a good sarcastic cop character, like somebody who doesn't believe. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Like in Zodiac, he was in Zodiac as one of the captains. But yeah, he was. I don't know. He was all right in this. I didn't have a problem with this, but he was in a lot of shit where I just remember seeing him and being like, huh? I don't know. He was in Shameless. That's where I've seen him in recently too. Shameless.
Wasn't he the husband in Runaway Bride with J-Lo or something, or Julia Roberts or somebody or something?
Runaway Bride? No, I don't think he was in that one.
He was in anyway, those movies, those like chick movies. I forget.
Yeah.
Oh, My Best Friend's Wedding. He was in
My Best Friend's Wedding. That's it.
Yeah. So anyway, he's just this awkward guy to me. Like as a person, maybe he's not. Maybe he's not at all. But as an actor, I would just feel like his roles, the way he acts, is a little weird. Like I said, like he's eating fucking something that is not pleasing all the time. Like he's uncomfortable. Like the guy's always uncomfortable.
He looks like
you really put a lot of effort
into fucking lemons.
Yeah. It's like he's eating lemons without making that total facial expression.
I think talking out the side of his mouth.
Oh shit.
Christ.
So
one thing I do want to say
yes.
is the beginning of this movie, whenever Quinn does go and visit Elise for the first time, Elise makes a comment of, you tried to contact her on your own. And I think that probably went over a lot of people's heads. But in the paranormal field, trying to do things without experience or any kind of like training or anything like that can really open up a lot of shit. And that's why she said that, because like people who think like Ouija boards are toys and they try to like let anybody in and try to communicate with spirits or whatever, they don't realize what they're getting into. And when she made that comment, to me personally, I was like, oh shit, this girl, who knows what this girl let in, because she opened herself up thinking she was talking to her mother. And one thing if you do research with like demons or anything, any kind of like negative entity, they can make themselves seem like anybody and make you let your guard down in order to let them in. So that one little comment to me meant a lot. So I know a lot of people might not have seen it, but that meant a lot to me.
Yeah. I mean, I assume that's what it was. You basically made yourself a target. That's what I was thinking. Like,
and the daughter even says, "How do you know?" Like to the dad, "How do you know it wasn't mom? How do you know?" And most likely it wasn't, and it wasn't obviously, but yeah, you never know what you're getting into. So anybody out there, this isn't a game. It's not a game. Watch these movies. You'll be afraid to contact the spirit world.
No words. What?
Say that again.
I said, let me ask you about Ouija boards.
Okay.
So the one in Toys R Us, right? Right? That's a toy, or is it?
They are all conduits, as far as I'm concerned. It's no different between writing something on a piece of paper and asking for answers. You're opening yourself up. It was designed as a fun home toy for sleepovers and shit. But I believe that Ouija boards, voice recorders, anything that anybody in the paranormal field uses, I don't see a big difference between any of it. Either way, you're asking questions, you're opening yourself up, you're opening a doorway. Whether you call it a game or not, I do believe that they work. And it's pretty much just one of them things of, don't even try it if you don't want to know what's going to happen, basically.
Right.
But yeah, they do sell it on Toys R Us, but you can buy a voice recorder at Walmart.
Yeah.
You're still trying to communicate, and you're opening yourself up to whoever wants to come through. So it's either you open that door and get ready for who the fuck comes through, or you just shut the fuck up and go about your business.
All right.
It's not a game. That's what I'm trying to tell everybody. That like the paranormal field is not a game. So if all you know is like what you see on TV or in these movies, it's a real thing. And a lot of people spend a lot of time and a lot of energy to learn and learn and learn. And if you don't know shit, stay out of it.
Right. Cool. So,
orbs or dust.
So, what do we got here? Insidious 3. Where the fuck happens here? I forgot. I don't even know where we are. Ouija boards. The daughter visits. What happens next? She goes home. The father tells about this. Something happens, right? So I thought this was fucking amazing, actually. So she's got an interview. She's an actress, trying to be an actress. So she's going to this interview in New York City at a school, and she's run across the street, and
you like, get fucking rocked.
Oh, no, she doesn't get rocked. She's like, it's like, oh shit. She almost got hit by a car, and it's like, oh man, you thought she was gonna while you're watching it. Okay. Boom. Next thing you know, a few minutes later, the scenes are going on. Boom, boom, boom. Bam! I was not expecting that shit.
She got fucked up.
That was sick, I gotta say.
Crazy.
And you know what that is right there? Some fucking fantastic foreshadowing. Gotta say. That was some fantastic foreshadowing. Because normally, right? So having that scene where she almost got hit by a car, that's alluding to the fact that it's going to happen later, right? But the fact that when it happens and so foreshadowing, right? It's usually triggering. It's usually something that happens in the beginning that is alluding to what's going to happen later. So, for example, and you guys remember the Twilight Zone episode, Time Enough at Last, when the guy's glasses break?
Yeah.
So there's a scene when he's arguing with the wife and she rips up the book of poetry and it's on the floor and his glasses slide off and fall on the floor. Boom, during all that chaotic craziness, right? So they didn't break, but it's alluding to what's going to happen later. They break. So the fact, that they're going to break. You've seen it a million times, right? And the first time you watch it, though, you probably didn't think about that, right? Same thing with this. Now, a bad, poorly done foreshadowing would make you be like, it's going to happen, and it's going to happen. Here, I wasn't expecting that car accident again after this scene. So, well done foreshadowing.
Foreskinning.
What? I actually thought this was maybe the creepiest out of them all. I like this one, guys.
This one has a very slow setup, though. I think like it took a lot longer. Maybe I was just expecting to,
Well, compared to part 2, where you're dropped right in and everybody, it had to introduce a whole new set of characters. I don't know. I didn't think that obviously this was nowhere near as good as the first one, but I think this is a big step above the second one.
Well, yeah, because you even said you got taken away in the second one because you didn't. It was the dynamic was different. I think the change of characters kind of like revitalizes it more. So
yeah.
The fourth one coming, obviously, looks like it does. It's all brand new people too, so hopefully it does the same thing.
Yeah, it was definitely an improvement over number 2, 100%. But still relies on too many of the cliche tropes, tons of jump scares, and that the emotional detachment that you don't have with the characters in the first one. Here, I thought the girl was all right. What was her name? Fucking Stephanie Scott. She plays Quinn. I thought she was fine. I had no problem with the acting in this film, except, like I said, Dermot Mulroney's a little awkward, but he worked as the father.
Let it go.
What's your problem with him, man?
Sure, he's that fucking guy.
He probably has like a picture of him on the wall shooting darts at it every fucking night. Fuck you, Dermot
Oh man. Yeah. So, what do you guys think of this one, Jim?
I enjoyed it. Like I said, I think the change. I love going back. Prequels, if they're done right and there's not a lot of plot holes, are really good. I'm a big nostalgia factor kind of guy, so bringing back the character of Elise throughout the franchise and then seeing how they, she got mixed up with the two other guys and all that kind of stuff. It's cool to see the beginning stages of that. Whenever just in the first one they were already established a team, but yeah, I thought it was a different take. The lead protagonist spirit, I guess you can call, was pretty freaky. The happy ending, not the massage kind, but maybe kind.
We meet the bride in black again, right? Parker Crean.
Yes. Yeah, I thought it was done well. It was a good film. If I'm ranking them, obviously it would be 1, 3, 2. I think 2 was mostly just to shut the door on that storyline. But yeah, I'm anxious to see what they do with part 4.
Good. And James?
Yeah, pretty much in agreement with Jim. The third one, like I said, I wasn't expecting to like it when I saw it had nothing to do with the other ones, and once I checked it out, I was like, oh, this is pretty fucking cool. Jump scares in there were pretty dope. The whole knocking on a wall and then texting the fucking
that was cool. The friend,
the whole thing with the friend, and even the what?
I heard that.
Oh god.
Yeah, I actually did forget that. It's in my notes actually about the phone, the knocking on the wall, and him saying "I'm not home" was kind of a freaky little thing. It was cool.
Yeah, there was some cool stuff with the jump scares and all that, and like I'm the same thing. I go 1, 3, 2 when as far as the order of how I like them.
Oh man, yo, I was thinking, guys, what if these movies were rated R?
Yeah.
Be pretty badass.
That's the only thing. That's the one thing I hate about all these thrillers that come out is the ratings. It's a serious subject matter, and it's not realistic to me to have no swearing and no, like, it's not a real. There's no realistic feel, I guess you can say. I mean, like me just sitting in our office in our building, I say the F word for every noise I hear. Like, it's just not. It's not realistic to me. So putting PG-13 ratings is obviously a money-making thing because more people can see it. But
after the success of it, hopefully that'll change.
Yeah, I don't enjoy the PG-13 rating for all these thrillers, but yeah, like I said, like the Purge films and all that, they were rated R, and they're more unsettling and more realistic, and I think they could do a lot more if they just pushed it up to more adult themed and more realistic.
Good. All right. Well, yeah, I really got nothing else to say about part 3. It's definitely worth a watch, 100%. The franchise as a whole is worth a watch. But Elise as a character, we're gonna see her and her 2 new, well, according to this one, sidekicks, right? Tucker and Specs. We'll see them again in chapter 4. So the trailer, we watched the trailer, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think?
Definitely looks darker. I think it's going to be a darker film as far as the trailer goes. But yeah, like I said, I'm looking real forward to what they do with it and tying things together. If it is the last installment, since all the other films are coming out, the standalones. Yeah, I don't know. I'm anxious. I'm definitely gonna give it a watch.
Yeah, I mean this one turned around another $100+ million profit. So of course they're gonna make a fourth one. Shit.
Yeah.
And these movies are turning out like every 2 years, also quick. Like 2013, 2015, 2017, well, 2018 first month. But yeah,
Well, it's because they were making Conjuring films in between that. So, like James Wan was going from movie to movie, basically.
Yeah, man, he was fucking cranking these shits out, bro.
Whoops.
Question: is James Wan, should he be considered a master of horror?
He has some decent. He has a decent resume. I mean, I think he could be a modern day master of horror.
Okay. Well, how do you feel about him, James?
I like the Conjuring movies. I enjoy these enough to think that they're, I mean, everything he's done that I've seen, I've liked. I saw a review that somebody wrote that they were saying that he's this generation's Dario Argento or some shit like that.
The fuck out of here!
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know about all of that, but it's fucking
Fuck out of here!
But yeah, man. But I mean,
Yo,
the movie.
He directed Saw. He directed Dead Silence. He directed a movie called Death Sentence. I never saw that one. He directed Insidious, The Conjuring, Insidious 2, Furious 7, Conjuring 2, and the upcoming Aquaman. So his resume is not that fucking masterful, in my opinion. Yeah, Saw, fucking masterpiece. Anything else on here a masterpiece? Fuck no.
I really like
maybe
the first
Furious
Conjuring.
7.
Yeah.
I got to do rewatches on the Conjuring movies because I thought that when I watched it, I thought it was overrated. But I'm willing to give it another shot.
Yeah, I really like the Conjuring movies. I really like the first one. The second one I watched for the first time recently, and I don't know. I don't think it holds up to the first one.
Now I didn't do any research, but does he have anything to do with like the Annabelles or anything that stemmed off the Conjuring franchises?
Yeah, he's a producer, so he produces a ton of films too. Yeah, he produces.
I guess he's
things
known as having his hand in most of what people know today as horror. I guess he has his hand in it. Doesn't mean he's responsible for it, but he has something to do with all these films these PG-13 thrillers / horrors that are coming out. I mean, his name is attached to him, so you got to give him credit.
Right. What's it called? I don't know. I give him credit. Don't get me wrong. Fucking guy is making movies. He made Saw. Goddamn, it was phenomenal. I also enjoyed Dead Silence, so I saw that in the theaters. It was good.
I love Dead Silence.
And Insidious is good. The Conjuring was good. The movies that he makes are good, but I mean, fucking next to somebody like John Carpenter.
Oh, come on, no. I said
somebody like Wes Craven.
No.
That's what I'm saying. Like, who's the modern masters of horror?
I don't know.
Exactly. I don't know. It's crazy, right? But
I don't think we're ever going to have one. Too many mainstream people. Too many. I don't know. I think that age is gone. I think we need to just love what we already have.
And he seems to create these things and then stray from them, but yet produce them. If you're gonna be in the mix, dude, fucking direct it.
Because he's still getting money. He don't give a fuck.
Oh, well, there's the problem there.
That's the paycheck.
Yeah, that's the paycheck. Now what's he gonna do? Aquaman, right? Then The Crooked Man in Conjuring 3, he's not directing. The Nun, he's not directing. Insidious: The Last Key, he's not directing. Jigsaw, not directing. Creation, Annabelle, not directing. I don't know. I mean, hey, listen. The guy's putting out movies, whether he's producing or directing, there's no doubt about it. And he's putting out quality work. But a master of horror, I don't know. That's
That's why I added the word modern day to it, because I don't think there's ever going to be any more masters of horror. But today, that's all these kids are going to know. These kids. I feel like I'm fucking 50.
You old fuck, yeah.
These fucking kids don't know anything about Wes Craven. You want to? Do we even rate these yet?
No, yeah, we're gonna rate them in a sec. Shit, that's funny, bro. Well, last comments on episode 3, chapter 3, whatever.
James, you wanted to be part of this episode a lot, so did it? Was it up to your standards?
Yeah, the third one I liked. I thought it was cool. I still didn't like it as much as the first one. But I enjoyed it. The freaking, what's that scene when she like looks out the window and the fucking thing grabs? Like, there was so many jump scares in all these movies, but this one was pretty cool. And even that whole scene where she's walking down the hallway and seeing all the fucking girls that this thing is possessed to death or whatever the fuck it was. The fuck's her name? I can't even think right now.
Late into the episode.
Lady. You know when the chick opens her hair and her fucking face is like on the whatever. Anyway, fucking it was dope, man. I liked it. That car crash, the car fucking hitting us scene was crazy.
That was cool.
Yeah,
I even put in my notes, she gets crushed by a car. Yeah. I was like, motherfucker. I had my volume on 70. I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, and then you gotta love the little happy ending fucking thing with mom ghost popping up to save her and all that bullshit.
I love happy endings.
Well, speaking of happy endings, let's rate these bad boys. So, yeah, there's more to chapter 3 we probably didn't talk about, but just go watch it. Until then, here we go, folks. I'll give my ratings. Insidious, 4 out of 5 zombie heads. Insidious 2, 2 out of 5 zombie heads. Insidious 3, 3 out of 5 zombie heads. Trailer for Insidious 4. Watching the trailer and guessing, I'm going to go with a 3 out of 5. It looks good. That key monster looks pretty fucking rad, but I don't know if it's going to hold as strong as the original. So, on that note, Jim, let's get your ratings.
Insidious Part 1, 4.5 out of 5 zombie heads. Insidious Chapter 2, 2.5 out of 5 zombie heads. Insidious Chapter 3, 3.5 out of 5 zombie heads. Did you rate? Would you rate the trailer of Part 4?
Yeah, on potentially what you think it'll be from watching the trailer.
I enjoyed the trailer. I thought it looks like it's going to be good. I'm never going to judge a movie by a trailer, obviously, but the trailer itself, I'm hopeful, and hopefully, if it is the last one, it does end. It does answer all the questions without leaving questions. I'm saying trailer-wise, I'll do 4 out of 5. Franchise as a whole so far, minus Part 4. Fuck. I'm going to do 3.5 out of 5 zombie heads.
All right. And Leslie, Mr. Mac.
Yeah. The first one, I'm probably going to go 4.5. The second one I liked better than you guys, I think. So I'm actually going to give the second one a 3. And then the third one, I guess I'm going to give a 4.
Yeah, 4.
And the trailer, man, I don't know, man. I'm not like the trailer looks cool. It's just there's a part of me for some reason that just thinks it's going to suck. It's something about the key fingers. I don't know. It bothers me. But, I mean, I hope it's good. But I don't know. The trailer, I'll probably give it. Right now, I'm going to give it a 2.5 just because I'm not sure how I feel about it.
All right, very good, boys. Insidious franchise gets a thumbs up from all of us. Recommend it. If you haven't seen these films, check them out when you get a chance. All right, boys. Well, this is the end of the episode here. It was a great time coming back and getting back on the horse. So, what do we got for next time, gentlemen?
Did we even? That's going to be our kickoff of the October episodes and our extravaganzas, if you want to call it that. Did we actually? I mean, do we want to?
Oh, it'll be a surprise.
I don't know, because we are very, very flaky. So I don't want to fucking say something now and not stick to it. I hope to God we don't change shit, because you know what I want to do. But hopefully we do. I mean, shit. Our year will be at the end of the month of October. We started October 25th of last year. Halloween month, Friday 13th in October. I just think a lot of potential out there to put some good quality shows out. So I hope everything and scheduling lets it happen.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. It's bedtime.
Any kind of pages to plug? If since we weren't able to put anything out there, head over to Facebook and like Slice and Dice Dreadcast. You can join our private group, Death by Podcast / Slice and Dice Dreadcast discussion. Blah 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 blah. Look it up on Facebook and ask to be a member, and you'll see everything happening in addition to all the other podcasts on horrorphilia.com. You head over there and listen to all the podcasts on that great network. Shout out to Jay Lloyd. Thank you very much again for everything you do. If you want to donate again to the Hurricane Relief Fund to get our podcast pack, feel free to go over there and look up the information to do that. Welcome back, James. Thank you for coming back on. I missed you, bud.
Yay.
I'm glad to be back, man. I missed you guys. I was glad to be able to jump in when I could over the last few months. And
anything you want to plug on the line that we do?
That we don't plug the Instagram page, Slice _ and _ Dice _ Dreadcast _ the best horror memes out.
See how easy that was, Joe. You got 2 other shows to do it on. Let's see if you can figure it out. And I do promote your other fucking shows on that goddamn thing too. So
you definitely do. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Speaking of those other shows, you could find me on Death by Podcast. Season 2 has just dropped. We have some new co-hosts joining Mike and I. And right now we're in the middle of a Bruno Mattei retrospective. And you could check me on the Horror Mafia podcast with Mr. BC Bill Castanelli and the Don himself. Upcoming next episode, Humanoids from the Deep and Rabid. Until then, you can check me here with my boys at sliceanddice._.instagram.com.
What the fuck? and if you're not watching this live on YouTube right now, head over to YouTube and subscribe to our channel. For every time we do go live, you'll get a notification, and you'll be able to watch and comment in our chat room there on YouTube. So we are all over the internet. Just go on Google, type in Slice and Dice Dreadcast, and you'll find all our shit out there. And our whole catalog of episodes is on horrorphilia.com.
Yes, leave us an iTunes review, and maybe I'll send you a DVD. Jerry, I found the socks today. They'll be there soon.
Olaf nipples in the mail.
All right, boys. Until next time, we'll celebrate our 30th episode. We'll celebrate Halloween, Friday the 13th, and it'll be a fun fucking time. Until then, Joey, Jimmy, and J-Mac, we're out.
Peace.
Later, everybody.